after we talked about all those 3 different ways that we could be entangled, remember, in the fabric, lower jumper cuts away first. In the lines, tangled up in the lines, the jumper in the lines cuts away first, while lower jumper holds those lines tight for them. Neither jumper in lines or fabric, either jumper can cut away without endangering the other jumper, but the guy who passed through the lines should go first if possible. Looking at hook knives, again, a hook knife is a very valuable tool in an entanglement. If you've got a line wrapped around you that you can't get off you, you have the possibility of using that knife and plucking and getting rid of it. Remember, a hook knife is a precision instrument. Use it with precision. Never slash at anything. You pluck with a hook knife. Pluck, pluck, pluck. And again, one line caught on you, tying the 2 of you together, or something caught in your riser, cutting off a bridle of another canopy or something like that, might be a good, quick way to use that knife. Just be careful with it and never slash. The reserve static line. Reserve static line is one of the greatest inventions to skydiving. It has saved literally thousands of lives. And there are literally at least 1,000 jumpers who would be alive today had they used an RSL. Because it's pretty common for someone to cut away and then try to get stable before they deploy the reserve. Remember, when you come out of an entanglement, you're going to be tumbling. So getting stable is not the priority. Getting the reserve out typically is. Now, the only time the RSL has any impact on any entanglement is if you're the jumper in the lines and you're going to cut away first. That's the only time you need to disconnect that RSL if you can find it and get to it. Now, it's not uncommon for your harness, your handles, and everything to be in weird places during an entanglement. So where you typically reach for stuff, you may not find it. Where you typically reach for an RSL, it may be way back over here. So if you can't find it, don't spend the rest of your life looking for an RSL. Move on to the next step and get the cutaway and or reserve pulled in the correct order, in the fashion you need to. Disconnecting that RSL, if I'm at 2,000 feet or under 2,000 feet, I may not even worry about disconnecting it because I want that reserve to start coming out the second I pull that cutaway handle because I'm low. Now, the reason we do disconnect it, like we said, is if we don't clear the entanglement right away and we've got a few thousand feet to work with, we don't really want that reserve coming out immediately. We would like to actually activate the reserve ourselves once we're either clear of the other canopy or we can't get clear of the other canopy, then we activate. So even if I don't clear the other canopy and I fire that reserve, that's where the greatest invention in parachuting comes into play. And that is the free bag on the ram air reserve. It allows a horseshoe malfunction to allow the reserve out of the bag. Even if the pilot chute gets caught up on the jumper, the bridle itself could deploy the reserve, but if the reserve gets to where it can get out of the bag, at least now the bag will not interfere with the reserve. Again, it saved my life once, and I know it saved countless others. So in review, what is the most important thing to prevent in a collision with another jumper piloting a ram air parachute? Answer: body-to-body contact. Avoid the other jumper's body at all cost. Hit the lines, hit the fabric, hit anything but that other jumper. This may require turning towards the other jumper to get your body to miss the other body. Remember, that would only happen in a very close environment. Sometimes a left turn or sometimes brakes to go up is the way to avoid a collision with another jumper. Don't just turn right. Do what makes the most sense in the situation. If a jumper is engulfed in the fabric of another jumper's canopy above 2,000 feet AGL and unable to disengage from the entanglement, which jumper should be instructed to cut away? Answer: the lower jumper should be instructed to be cut away first. The upper jumper in the fabric should then clear his face and controls, get his toggles untangled, keep the fabric on him, and slow down. The slower you fly, the less that fabric is going to try to catch air. Remember, it's safer to keep the fabric on your body and the lines behind you than to try to get rid of that fabric and have a line snag on you and allow that parachute to inflate behind you. At that point, you can become a down plane, or that other canopy can come up and interfere with your parachute. Question: what word should a jumper avoid using in an entanglement, and what word should you use carefully in that situation? Answer: never use the word don't as a preface for any communication. Use the word stop if you don't like what the other jumper is going to do. Only use the word cutaway as a command for the other jumper. If there's multiple jumpers, use their first name in front of the word cutaway. If you're going to cut away first, do not use the word cutaway. Use everything but that word. All right, I'm leaving now. See you later. Bye-bye. So at least you're clearly communicating that you're leaving now. If that other jumper don't like it, he can yell stop. Question: if a jumper is entangled in the suspension lines of another jumper's canopy above 2,000 feet, unable to disengage, which jumper should be instructed to cut away first? And what two things does that jumper need to do before cutting away? Answer: the upper jumper in the lines should cut away first. But that jumper has those two things they need to do: clear lines in fabric and make a path out of there. Make sure your 3 rings are able to flip. Make sure nothing's snagged on you that's going to hang on to you that you can see. Once you got it cleared, disconnect RSL so the reserve doesn't come out immediately, and then cut away and get skinny. Slide out the bottom. All while the lower jumper stays on his canopy and holds those lines tight so that you have a clean path to slide out of it. All right, so that's my presentation on collisions and entanglements. As we said in the beginning, these are unusual canopy emergency procedures. They require a lot of other activity other than just look, grab, pull, check. You may do a whole bunch of other things that you may never even pull those handles, or you may only pull one of them. So the whole point of that is, because it's unusual and because there's infinite number of variables, we may have to be very creative. Figure something out. Make something fly. Make something come together. Make something get out of something. Climb, get busy, but do something. You have the rest of your life to fix the problem. Keep working the problem. You ain't got anything else to be doing. If you have any questions about any of this material, or you'd like to discuss it, or if you have some material you'd like to send to us to look at, you can send it to gravitypoweredflight@gmail.com, or you can call or text me at the number below.